Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 11th Annual Envision Financial Douglas College Community Building Program. My name is Kimberly Jang, one of the instructors for this course, and I'm here joined by my co-instructor, Shannon Cox, as well as our students, our partners, and our supporters. So before we get started, I'd like to recognize and acknowledge the Cowichan First Nation, Coquitlam First Nation, as well as all Coast Salish peoples, on whose traditional and unceded territories we live, we learn, we play, and we do our work. If you would like to find the territory where you are located, please find the territory map at native-land.ca. The Community Building Program is a collaboration between the marketing students at Douglas College, the nonprofit partners in the community, and Envision Financial. With the help and support of Envision Financial, student groups in Douglas College's senior marketing class are connected with nonprofit partners in the community, where they work on marketing-related challenges and projects for these organizations. Students gain marketing experience, and the organizations receive marketing and strategic support from the students. So today, the students and the nonprofit partners, guests from Douglas College, Envision Financial, and the greater community are here to view a showcase of the students' work this semester. I encourage you to participate in live chat, so feel free to drop your emojis and your comments there. And in addition, feel free to add questions for each team as you observe their presentations, as teams will be having a live Q&A after each of their presentations to answer questions. So to kick things off, I'd like to introduce to you this year's student PR team. This team was tasked with documenting the semester and sharing the students' journey on social media. They'll introduce themselves and showcase what they did this semester.
Hello. I'm Yannick, Joven, Jedrick, Harjot, and Genesis of the PR and content team. We're so excited to share with you a highlight reel of this past semester showing the students, their projects, and the community building program story. We created this highlight reel to document this past semester. We hope you enjoy.
When you mix passion, creativity, knowledge, courage, excellence, skills, joy, and determination, you get to build something beautiful and meaningful that can last forever. And it all happens with the hard work of our dedicated students.
It was really interesting to see the hard work and the core values reflected in the poetry slam.
In this program, I really understood the importance of the research in marketing, in how research can help us in our job day by day.
I learned about communication plans and the creation of manuals.
I got hands-on experience with real clients and learned from the same.
I learned to hone my research skills and analytical skills, and I also learned that teamwork makes the dream work.
I learned how to run a project effectively and practice professionalism.
The best thing I learned throughout my project is actually communicating with real-life clients.
This semester I learned how nonprofits vary in comparison to for-profit businesses in the sense in how they market and appeal to their clients.
I learned more about business marketing and how it's different from consumer marketing.
I learned marketing research and teamwork.
Communication skill is the most important thing that I learned.
One valuable skill I learned from the marketing practicum was to talk to clients properly.
One of the valuable experiences is I get to collaborate with different people and learn how to compromise.
Yep. One thing I learned was how to conduct secondary research.
Guys, this is Team 4. I'm Louisa.
Alice.
Nikita. Jan.
And our greatest learning in this project was to work with a real client. We are very happy that we managed through it, and we think that one of our biggest challenges was the time management. Was something that we really had to work on it since we were working with a real client, but it was awesome, and thank you for this opportunity. Bye.
Wow! Wasn't that a great snapshot? Great job, PR team. What an introduction to the 11th edition of the Envision Financial Douglas College Community Building Program. Welcome. My name is Shannon Cox, and along with Kimberly, we've been working with the students, this PR team, all semester. And we welcome you all here today, and thank you so much. Since 2005, Envision Financial has been a partner of Douglas College. And starting in 2012, we put together this partnership program that helps us build skills in our students, give them the opportunity to work with nonprofit partners in the community, and really help build on that great work of outreach that Envision Financial values. And it has been an honor and a privilege to work with the students over that time period. It really makes a difference for the students to actually work on real life case studies, live case studies, and work with organizations to help with real problems. And it's magical to watch them actually transfer their learning from books and theories into our partners. So what you're about to see today is the snapshot, just a quick pitch of their ideas for our 3 community partners. And this year we are delighted to be working with Canada Scores Vancouver, the Cowichan Valley Basket Society, and First West Foundation. This means our students have been able to work with nonprofits and support at-risk youth, young children, working with homeless, supporting people who are food insecure, and being able to support the work for people who self-identify as Black, Brown, Indigenous, or identify as a person of color. Before we learn about the work of our student teams and see their presentations, we welcome opening remarks from our tremendous supporters right here in the college, starting with President Dr. Kathy Denton. From Envision Financial, the President, Mr. David Landfield. And from Commerce and Business Administration, our Dean, Dr. Justin Williams. All of them are tremendous supporters of this program. Kathy, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Thanks, Shannon. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us to celebrate a partnership between the Marketing Department at Douglas College and Envision Financial. Today, we have an opportunity to learn about the work that the marketing students have been doing with nonprofit organizations in the community. And this work has been made possible by the generous support of Envision Financial. By supporting the marketing department at Douglas College, Envision Financial has created opportunities for students to apply the skills they've learned in class as part of a capstone course for their program. We're going to hear directly from those students later on, and they'll tell us what they did, what they learned from it, and how their work can inform improvements within the organizations they assisted. Each of those organizations gave one or more groups of students a set of problems to tackle, which required students to use their marketing and communication skills. Each team of students is supervised by a faculty member in the Douglas College Marketing Department, and they have very specific deliverables for the students to bring forward. Each group must conduct research, and they must make recommendations for improvement. From my perspective, one of the key benefits of this work is that it gives students feedback on their skills. They learn that they possess expertise that can help others. This can help build confidence, and the experience can also increase awareness of any gaps or difficulties associated with translating theory into practice. And this, I think, is where faculty supervision comes in really handy. Students are not the only ones to benefit throughout this process. The organizations they work with benefit as well, and those benefits can often extend beyond the tasks that are accomplished. The organizations make connections with Douglas College that can pave the way for future collaborations or volunteer work experience for students, practicum placements, co-op, and maybe even employment opportunities for people down the road. I'm confident that all of the organizations represented here today have benefited from the work of our students. I look forward to hearing more about the details of that work. And the college is extremely grateful to Envision for their support and ongoing efforts to create healthy communities through education and philanthropy. Envision has been a very strong partner for many years, and we really appreciate their support and generosity. I hope you'll enjoy the presentations, and thank you for sharing in the celebration with us. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Denton. Thank you. And now, remarks from President of Envision Financial, David Landfield.
Hello, and thank you for joining us at the 11th Annual Envision Financial Douglas College Community Building Student Showcase. I'm Dave Landfield, President of Envision Financial. As we've seen over the last year, technology has become an increasingly key component of our day-to-day activities, learning experience, and how we work, connect, and support one another. Technology brings us together tonight to celebrate your achievement, to learn more about your research, insights, and recommendations we all know will greatly benefit your not-for-profit partners. Our community partners, Canada Scores Vancouver, Cowichan Valley's Basket Society, and First West Foundation, thank you for being our partner in the community and providing our students this extraordinary learning experience. I have heard that you have put a tremendous amount of effort and thought into your projects, and I sincerely look forward to learning more about all you have accomplished. Thank you again for showing us your support by joining us at tonight's event.
Thank you very much, Mr. Landfield, President of Envision Financial. And next, we invite remarks from our Dean, Dr. Justin Williams, Commerce and Business Administration faculty. Justin?
Great, thank you, Shannon, and good afternoon, everybody. I won't lie, I'm very excited to be here. I wasn't able to attend last year, and I'm very much looking forward to the presentations today. I just want to say first and foremost that how intensely grateful I am to Envision for their contributions and support in this project. It doesn't happen easily, and partnerships like this are really rare and require commitment, flexibility, and common values. Values of making an impact, improving the lives of those who live within our communities, and a dedication to continuous improvement. Envision's clear commitment to improving the communities in which we operate, it operates, are clear and visible through this initiative, and we're extremely grateful to them. The pandemic has laid bare the inequities around us, making the important work that our nonprofits do all the much more important. They operate in a changing landscape in which technology is rapidly changing and how we live and work continues to evolve. The nonprofit sector must keep up with this pace of change and yet is anchored by limited resources and constant challenges. This project allows us at Douglas, through Envision's generous partnership, to help to support our nonprofit partners to continue to evolve and grow with new initiatives, and enables them to continue staying abreast of all of these changes. Experiential learning for our students is an essential tool in supporting our students apply the knowledge that they have gained, and this initiative is a perfect example. Here today, we're going to hear about some of the skills and some of the theories that our students have learned in class and how they've applied them to help and work with our local partners. This partnership exposes students to industry, which is essential for them to be able to segue from the classroom into the world of work, and gives them those essential skills and the knowledge and the experience to help them translate into a successful career. So I'd like to thank both Envision and our partners, Canada Scores, the Cowichan Valley Food Basket Society, and First West Foundation for your participation in this project today. Thank you. The work that you do is admirable. Now I'm going to pass it back over to Shannon and the rest of the show.
Thanks so much, Justin. All right, what's next, Kim?
Well, now I'm very, very excited and pleased to launch us into the student presentation portion of this event. So students have worked tirelessly this semester on these projects, as Shannon and I will contest, or will acknowledge, and I think working really, really closely with their nonprofit partners, their team members in solving a marketing or strategic challenge. And so for this student presentation portion, each student team had 7 minutes to pitch their strategic advice and marketing recommendations. And that isn't a whole lot of time. So it's a really rapid fire way of showcasing top highlights of each team. So there will be a live Q&A after each presentation. So to all those watching today, feel free to add any questions in the chat box. And teams will be answering via the chat as well as in a live response after each presentation. The PR and content team is here to actually host the student presentation portion of the event. So they'll be introducing the partners, the teams, as well as hosting the Q&A. So up next is Genesis Della Roma, one of the students on the PR team. Genesis?
Hi, so my name is Genesis, and for today's presentation, I will introduce you the two groups that work on projects with Canada Scores Vancouver. So Canada Scores Vancouver provides vulnerable children with free after-school programming, combining soccer, poetry, and community projects. So the first team that we'll present today is the Team 2. So Team 2 focus on promotions and strategies for coach recruitment, and they also help to formulate ways on how to retain valuable coaches in the programming. And the second team that we'll present, which is the Team 3. So Team 3 focus their efforts on creating promotional ideas and strategies for organizations' fundraising dinner event that will take place in May. So after each team's presentation, the questions from the audience will be answered. So please feel free to drop your questions down in the chat box. And now Team 2 will now be presenting.
We are Team Go Lead, and we are really excited to present for Canada Scores Vancouver our program communication plan. First, the project purpose is to identify a new target segment for the organization and give strategies on how to retain current coaches, as well as to create tactics to amplify the reach of new ones. So our objective is to deliver a strategic marketing plan to increase the number of coaches hired at the end of the next season, 2022, and integrate an omni-channel approach to retain current coaches and boost the reach. Let's talk about research. For our primary research, the highlights of our survey were 40% of current coaches know Canada Scores Vancouver for recommendation. 8 of 9 were very likely to extend another year. For our deep interview, they like that the schedule is flexible enough and they would like to receive extra training and to connect with coaches outside of Canada Scores Vancouver. The findings of our secondary research focus on the Burnaby and Vancouver area. Here are some universities where the connection can be made as they have soccer teams, so we can find our target market. There are more info in our report. And here we can see the current characteristic of our current coaches. And according to our secondary research, we want to target international students and sporty females. Now, Carol will talk about the solutions and recommendations.
Thank you, Val. So the plan overview include our main purpose, that is to identify new target segments for Canada Scores and also for retaining and recruit coaches. The main strategies will be focuses on coach loyalty plans, marketing plans, and manuals. And we are discussing the tactics during the next slides. Next slide, please. The coach loyalty plan is divided in 3 phases. The first one is the coach development programs for potentially the coaches to attend seminars and other plans of training. There's recognition programs focused on feature coaches on social media platforms to outstand their efforts. We also have the brand partnership to incentive the thanks to the coaches and also to feature the Canada Scores relationships with external institutions. Next slide, please. Regarding marketing plans, we have 4 phases. The first one is the communication messaging. Is for get the unique message that the coach position is between volunteering and a part-time job. We also have social media plans regarding content for these kind of platforms. We also have marketing tools such as brochures and personal selling scripts. And finally, we have the email marketing strategy. Now Sagar will discuss the manuals.
Thanks, Carol. So under the CSO manuals, we have a recruitment guide, which includes recommendations on sending the right messages and a social media guide with the social media do's and don'ts. Next slide. So next is the marketing assets that we are proposing to Canada Scores. Next. The marketing calendar, which will be used for posting and is based on optimal engagement days and timings. Next. For Twitter, we have kept the messages short and the texts are big to attract attention with a link for the followers to go to. The designs for the assets are simple yet in line with the layout of Canada Scores Vancouver. Next is Giuliano with LinkedIn and Facebook.
Thanks, Sagar. With the personalization of the NGOs, the demand grows for talents who know how to manage companies in the third sector, expanding the reach of actions and implementing successful projects that can increase impact communities. Therefore, LinkedIn is an excellent online platform to find and select coaches with the desired skills to perform in Canada Scores. The purpose of LinkedIn for Canada Scores is that it's the main social network of an NGO, and that it acts professionally to attract coaches. We propose that Canada Scores publish different content on its page, talk about the importance of coach work, how Canada Scores positively influenced people's life, show the institution structure and actions. In this way, Canada Score will be able to prospect interest talents to work in Canada Scores. Also, the post, it's worth sharing important information about activities of coach and the profession of coach to generate engagement on the page. Next slide, please. Regarding Facebook, we propose that Canada Scores should have a Facebook page. In this page, Canada Score will moderate that page that will be an excellent platform for several coaches for Greater Vancouver. The page of Facebook will be a catalyst that will promote debate between coaches, and Canada Scores can seek talents to add Canada Scores team. Now, Jericho will talk about Instagram and email.
So for Instagram, we created 3 templates based on our plans. So first is for the recruitment. You can see the now hiring is highlighted to show that there's a need. Second is more on the passion and volunteering while still generating interest that they can join the organization. Third is focus on the coach recognition aspect, picturing them and their experiences. Next, for the email blast. So we want to personalize it, making it engaging to increase the open rates. And the call to actions are easy to spot to redirect them easily based on what information they want to see. Also, to increase the database and to target the new segment, we suggest linking the subscribe to Canada Scores mailing list webpage on the social media platforms to promote it and to encourage more subscriptions. And next, Kat will be discussing about the brochure.
So we designed this brochure to help Canada Score highlight the benefits and the opportunities of the coach experience. This is an excellent material to support the organization page when introducing its service or approaching potential new coaches. Next, please. We also want to provide Canada Score with 2 manuals, one with recommendation for crafting message to expand coach network, and another one about social media best practice. So that is our coach recruitment communication plan for Canada Scores Vancouver. We hope to have accomplished a feasible strategy that will help Canada Scores achieve even more results. Thank you for listening, and we hope you have enjoyed it.
Thank you for that wonderful presentation, Team 2. So now, the most awaited part, the Q&A session. So I have a few questions here, and I would like to ask you. One is from the audience. I'll just read it first. So how will the current and potential coaches be reached?
Well, according to our secondary research, we would like to go directly through the universities, and we want to share all the information so the students can join Canada Scores Vancouver. That would be one of our proposals. Thank you.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So what is the most important part of the project plan?
Oh, well, that's a nice question. We will say that the most important part of the project is to get feedback from actual coaches and also from potential students that will be coaches in the future or other segments. But of course, that insights drive us into insightful marketing plans.
Okay, thank you, Team 2. So now here's Team 3 with their promotional ideas for the fundraising dinner event.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're Team 3. We're doing a project on Canada Store Vancouver. My name is Winston. These are my teammates, Leah, Rosie, Bronwyn, Mayor, and Rain. The purpose of this project is to develop promotional materials for fundraising dinner and support fundraising effort. The goal for Canada Store Vancouver is to raise $50,000 in donation. The way we will do that is to develop communication materials for the event, getting a minimum 120 guests to attend the dinner, and identify and approach potential new sponsors and donors.
So let's talk about key findings. We found 3 modes of communication which can be used for promoting dinner event. So the first one and the most effective is word of mouth, as 55% of consumers know about new product, service, or brand through word of mouth, knowing it from their friends or family. Another one is social media marketing, as 90% of the Canadians from the age group of 20 to 34 regularly use social media. So this can be effective promotional tool, can be used for dinner event. Another promotional tool is direct marketing, as it has an 118% increase in response rate. So further, we found 94% of the donors love to donate on the monthly basis, recurring plan, whereas we found 91% of the organizations stop acknowledging their donors from the 3rd month. According to Ladislav Wagner, gifts and incentive play a key role in gathering donations for non-profit organizations.
So during our research, we conducted an interview with an expert, Steven, who is digital marketing consultant at Douglas College. He suggested several approaches to organizing a fundraising dinner. And one of the great examples was using the existing donors to spread the word out by using the kids to carry a donor box and ask for donations during the dinner. Moreover, as an expert in social media, he gave some recommendations on how to improve social media platforms of Canada Scores Vancouver. Also, we created post-event survey for donors who will be attending this event. The goal of this post-event survey is to find out what people want to see from Canada Scores Vancouver.
Now let's talk about the solutions and recommendations. According to secondary research, the most effective method is social media strategy. The chart consists of comparison with 3 non-profit organizations: America Scores Chicago, Kids Safe, and Canada Scores Vancouver. By posting children activities on the first page of website and showing the process of kids activities will attract more target audience. Furthermore, we highly encourage using platform reels, encouraging videos and training videos on Instagram, where Canada Scores Vancouver can advertise the fundraising event effectively, also connecting donors emotionally. Furthermore, we are going to support a social media plan. The plan follows the guidelines that Canada Scores Vancouver planned for a fundraising dinner. The media plan consists of dates, comments, target audience, messages, and methods.
Online video advertisement is an extension of social media plan. We suggest frequent uploading on social media onto the fundraising event. Also, we highly recommend to show a strong connection with Canada Score Women National Team. For example, a short video of head coach why she supports this event.
I'm a very proud Canada Scores ambassador. I have been for years. I also play soccer for the women's national team for Canada.
And show more connection with children, like a short video of the children why they love to join Canada Score Vancouver.
Everything that I do in Canada Scores is helping me. It helps me with my poetry, my soccer skills. So that's the reason why Canada Scores is special to me. Thank you.
Eventually, being active in social media advertising will increase the awareness of fundraising event and create a unique concept.
I'm a very proud.
Storytelling strategy create an even emotional bond with a donor through booklet, invitation, and the custom button. Also, during the event, we suggest to create QR code or touch on the table that access to the long version of children video that we watch it. Overall, it makes the event special, and it will lead an emotional bond between donor and Canada Score Vancouver.
Another strategy we have is the word of mouth strategy. So the way we will do that is to have the current confirmed attendee to spread the word out to their friends and families is that they know that the dinner is coming up. It's actually one of the most efficient ways of marketing an event, according to Kevin, as in previous years, the word of mouth strategy has been the most used strategy of all of them. We can also use Beverly Pressman, the head coach of the women's soccer team, to help spread the word out to people so that they will know when to attend it as well.
As for marketing assets before the event, as we mentioned before, we have our social media strategy. So the idea is to use things that will attract people to go to the event. So for example, they will be auctioning a signed jersey of Cristiano Ronaldo, as well as a chance of me, Beverly Pressman. That way, we're gonna attract everyone that wants to attend the dinner. Also, before the event and during, we also mentioned that donors like to receive the gifts from nonprofits they help. In a way, they feel connected to the nonprofit. That's why we come up with the idea of the booklet that has a bit of information of who Canada Scores is, what the work is all about, also what are the after-school programs, and also a little bit of the kids, just so that the recurring donors know where the money is going to, and also for new donors to know what they're getting into by attending a dinner. As well as an invitation just to create this bond between donors and the nonprofit. And the idea of creating the button donor, that's people that will be attending the dinner can use it as just something to see, like to show proudly they're a Canada Scores Vancouver donor. And lastly, the thank you cards that's going to be placed on the plates during the dinner. They were made by the kids. That way, it's gonna feel more personal when you're sitting and just enjoying the dinner, and you can see where the money is going to. We're putting a face on the money. Lastly, that's just a pricing and budget for the whole idea that we have. As you can see, it's not very expensive, and we believe it's gonna be very successful. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you for that amazing presentation, Group 3. So now let's move on to Q&A session. So we got a question here, pre-made ones. So what makes the people want to attend to the fundraising dinner?
So our organization offers you unique combinations of poetry, soccer, and community projects. And all programs are designed to maintain the physical activities of the children, health, and wellness of our children. So that's why people want to donate to Canada Scores Vancouver.
Okay, for the second question, so what is the recommendation do you think will work for Canada Scores Vancouver fundraiser?
One of the things that we're asking to do is probably lower the donation goal by a bit, as we think that $50,000 is quite a large goal. So we're aiming towards at least minimum, looking at 30,000, so that might be a more reachable goal compared to the 50,000 that's originally have.
And also, we thought about not trying to keep pushing donations for it, just try to make things as natural as possible.
Okay, for the last question, the third one, what do you think Canada Scores Vancouver should avoid during the presentation for fundraising dinner?
Again, pretty much just try to be as natural as possible. We know hosting such an event can be very taxing, can be very tiresome as well. So just try to be all the donations natural and don't force people to attend it or like just keep sending them stuff. Just be very natural. I think they have a very good cause, so I think people naturally want to go there.
Okay, thank you. So thank you, Canada Scores Vancouver and Team 2 and Team 3. So now, for the next presentation, here's my partner and teammate, Jovan, to introduce the next partner. Jovan, take over.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Jovan. The Cowichan Valley Basket Society is located in Duncan, BC, with the mission to ensure that no individual or family in the Cowichan Valley goes hungry or either physically, spiritually, or emotionally. The Cowichan Valley Basket Society offers a food kitchen and food hamper to those that need it. Team 1 was tasked with an environmental scan and providing programming recommendations. Here's Team 1 with their ideas, and remember, if you have any questions, drop it in the chat for the team to answer during the Q&A. Thank you.
Hi, we are Team 43rd, and we are going to present our final showcase for Cowichan Valley Basket Society. So here's our team members, and I'm going to talk about purpose, objectives, and deliverables. So our main purpose and objectives are conduct an environmental scan to improve programs and opportunities to the community and provide marketing solutions to help raise awareness of services. And in terms of deliverables, there are secondary and primary data research, competitive analysis, which are gaps and overlaps, SWOT analysis, unique value proposition, and some strategies, and potential marketing elements to introduce new or enhance CBBS services to the communities. And Ednardo is going to talk about mission and vision for Cowichan Valley Basket Society.
So before moving forward with the finding analysis, I would like just to highlight here how strong it is the vision and mission from Cowichan Valley Basket Society, and how important it is to connect the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual support in both statements and services. So the next step would be to bring to you the secondary data research we made and the primary data research results we have, so we could lead to the SWOT analysis and the unique value proposition. From the secondary data research, we understood from the Canada Determinant of Health that it is very connected to the vision and mission from Cowichan Valley. It's not just about food. And the impact of the COVID-19, we all know that the more support from the government, the fewer people access the services. So let's understand better now the primary research results.
Through survey, we confirm what was previously only speculations. People are attending Cowichan Valley Basket Society and other organizations and filling those gaps through socialization. Those who don't may be using other artifices, such as addictions and other bad habits. As you can see below, divided between food kitchen and hampers, what is said by Cowichan Valley Basket Society clients. We could also find interesting insights from the survey. People concerned about expired products, the need for a better place to socialize, the importance of religion for these people, and much more. First, our team focused its effort on understanding more about the overlaps in the region, starting with this food support. Our research has shown that the Duncan region has a high quality physical support for all people in the region who look for this service, but very few of them invest in social and spiritual support, let alone all those three combined. As seen in this table, the physical support would represent the overlapping service, and the social and spiritual would be the gaps identified in the region. Of course, this is a simplification. More details will be covered during this presentation and the final report. And now Alicia will cover some key components of this SWOT analysis.
Okay, so for their SWOT analysis, we took a look at their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for Cowichan Valley Basket Society. We still think that their strongest strength is that they are the only provider in the area that offers an everyday meal for lunch, Monday through Saturday. The weakness for them would be that they have a minimal digital presence, meaning it's not very easy for any potential hamper clients to find information about them if they don't necessarily know that they're looking for CBBS. Opportunities, there is a lack of spiritual support in the region. Only a few social services provide this for them. Threats, there is an overlap in physical support, but as we said before, there is opportunities in the spiritual and social aspects. This brings us to our unique value proposition. CBBS is an everyday contact of the vulnerable population in the region. They have a unique DNA that understands the word hungry as it should be. It's more than just food.
Hello, guys. That's me again. And the question is, how can we connect the unique value proposition from Cowichan Valley Basket Society with the community need? And we are proposing to you to be a community hub again, connecting the physical, the social, spiritual support that we already talked before, and providing that with new marketing assets, some improvement on the marketing assets that we already have, and improvement with the facilities. And this will bring to us the word of mouth strategy, increase awareness, some kind of brand refresh, improving perception, fill the gaps in service on the services in the region, and more professionalism with the community.
So we thought brochure would be a great idea to introduce their services and program for vulnerable population since they don't have access to internet and mobile devices. So this brochure contains a crucial information such as opening and closing hours, details about contact information, and also names and walking distance of other service agencies around CBBS for those who need additional help. And in the backside, there's a weekly updates from CBBS or local community, simple recipe, and mission statements for better understanding of CBBS. And Justin is going to talk about day map. Thank you.
All right, so our next tactic is the day map, and this is to serve clients on an all-day basis by partnering with neighboring organizations, basically to fill the holes of needs as a cohort from Monday through Friday. All the contact information is provided in the front, as well as information about the hamper program for those who can't get daily service. All right, and on the back, obviously there's the map of the route they're going to be taking. And through this, we are hoping to form a community through repetitive use of the map. Therefore, Cowichan Valley Basket Society is not only helping physically as people are getting services, but also an emotional and spiritual connection through the bonding of people going through the same struggles.
The purpose of website improvement is to install the platform of digital asset brochure and day map and the food links to the global menu on the website.
Next up, we have facility updates. We found through primary research next to food, clients come to Cowichan Valley Basket Society to socialize. So to leverage this, our group proposes investing in expanding a social area outside where the space can be used to create and strengthen relationships. And this is through the canopies and the bench tables you see in our slide. Not only can clients confide in each other here, if they need physical help, food will literally be steps away from them. Alrighty, so our last tactic is our hamper newsletters and add-ins. And this is to show clients in the hamper program the emotional and spiritual help Cowichan Valley Basket Society provides, since they pick up the hampers and they go home and don't really get the full experience. And this can be in notes of words of encouragement, recipes, stories of past clients, and general newsletters of special events. This creates a stronger and more trusting client to organization relationship by giving them the needed positivity in their time of hardship. And this shows Cowichan Valley Basket Society cares about their physical health and mental health, which is as equally important. And that's the end of our final presentation today. We'd like to thank everyone for coming out and watching us. And we'd also like to directly thank Cowichan Valley Basket Society for the amazing experience. So thank you guys all very much.
Thank you for the presentation, Team 1. This moves to our Q&A section. Our first question here is, feeding people is such an important service. What are some strengths of your overall project? What are some weaknesses that you wish you could do better?
Yeah, so our strengths, I believe that we have a really good grip on food as more than just feeding hunger and being just physically stable. It goes a lot into your spiritual emotional aspects of your life as well. And we found that out through primary research, obviously through our visit with Cowichan Valley. So I think we really have a very good grip on that, and all our assets and our deliverables derived from all that. Our weakness, I think our biggest weakness was more so the distance between us and Cowichan Valley, just the physical distance. Only 2 of us were able to make it out there just because the external factors of outside the scope of the project. A lot of us have one of us is a dad, and then there's work, and then other courses that we're taking. So that would be like the biggest weakness that we wish we could kind of iron out the wrinkles with.
Thank you for the answer. Didn't think of that one so far. Here's another question. Why are there more traditional marketing assets than digital?
Yeah, so being a nonprofit that is a food bank is just the nature of the clients that they serve. Some of them do have access and do have a little bit of funds to maybe have a phone or a small laptop or something, but majority of them don't have the funds to do so. And so just putting more traditional marketing assets that have the capability of going digital, we found work best to cater to both targets.
Great. Thank you, Team 1, for your answers. That concludes our Q&A section. Next, my partner, Jed, will be talking about our next partner. Hey, Jed. Not a problem.
Appreciate you. Hey, guys. Again, thank you to our live viewers on YouTube for still tuning in with us. My name is Jed, and I'm excited to now introduce our next partner, First West Foundation. The organization seeks to actively contribute to meaningful projects that make a positive and lasting impact on community life across BC. As the foundation arm of First West Credit Union, they are seeking opportunities to grow awareness and impact the foundation. 4 groups were assigned to different project focuses and regions. I'm here to introduce the first two projects. Team 4 was focused on conducting customer analysis and formulate CRM ideas for the Lower Mainland. Team 5 was focused on the same topic, but they focused efforts on the BC Interior and the Enderby District. Here's Team 4 with their proposed ideas. If you have any questions, feel free to drop your questions down in the chat.
Hello guys, this is our First Pass Foundation project. We are Team 4 that is composed by me, Louisa, Mikita, Jen, and Alice. And talking a little bit about the project purpose and objective, we are trying to find organizations here in the Lower Mainland and Vancouver Island area. They're led by Black, Brown, Indigenous, and people of color, and create a database with all these organizations. We are trying to build a communication strategy for First West Foundation to be able to contact them and help First West to build a stronger community that encourage inclusiveness and a sense of belonging here in British Columbia. So a little bit about the market right now. 40% of the total donations goes towards religious organizations. This means that actually communities like led by Black, Brown, Indigenous people are interred and they don't receive that much attention. There is more than 12,000 charitable organizations here in BC, and it's very hard to sort it out all of them. Also, a third insight that is very important that we found out is that Facebook and Twitter are the most important social medias to contact this kind of organizations. And this will be very important in our marketing strategy. So now Mikita is going to talk a little bit about their interviews.
When it comes to the primary research we did, we chose interviews. And specifically, we wanted to learn what are the concerns and specifically ways of communication between organizations, charities, and the granting foundation. Specifically, what communication methods do they use and how often they like to be communicated with, and what other ways they may be looking for funds. The insights after the interviews were that the charities actually in this sector didn't know about First West as much as we would like to. The awareness of First West Foundation was actually very low. The interviewed grantees or future possible grant recipients said that they prefer to be reached out to instead of reaching out themselves. This passive method of acquiring funds, they claimed allowed them to see if the money coming in is legitimate. And we also made a number of interviews with a CRM expert who has given us a number of advice, specifically that First West currently, as it stands, doesn't have a well-developed CRM system with ongoing relations to base the system and approaches on specifically anything. So they recommend us to start looking at building more relations and reaching out towards organizations first. That means that conducting email campaigns, maybe live and online events, inviting leaders of the said communities to create a base for future CRM activities. I believe next is solutions.
So a little bit about the solutions and marketing assets that we're going to talk about, just an overview. We are going to talk about the CRM and database that we created, and we are going to provide marketing Microsoft Dynamics CRM as a platform to use. And in the social media marketing strategy, we are going to use Loomly, Mailchimp, Facebook to try to help First West to build a relationship and connections between the social media networks. The database that we created was created with organizations in the Lower Mainland and Vancouver Island, taking considerations if CRA, if they are led by Black, Brown, Indigenous, and people of color. And we came up with 13 organizations that have their name, telephone, email, site, and social media, and act inside the communities that First West does. So now it's Jen talking a little bit about Microsoft Dynamics.
Thank you. Before build the CRM, there were two considerations. First is the number of cherry increases. The limitation of Excel listing was clear. And First West Foundation doesn't have CRM, so need an entry level of help. So our team decided to recommend Microsoft CRM. Next, please. This is the sample of listing looks more professional. And there is a function of exporting and importing from Excel. So this will help to combine lists from other groups. Next, please. This is the mockup poster for the application with this. Next, please. There is the marketing function in the software. Just need to put the poster and set the deadline and send it to all organizations on the list. Also use this function for conducting event. Next, please. This will help to build a relationship with other charity. Next will be Alice with social media marketing.
Yeah, we're talking about social marketing. So first thing we recommend First West Foundation uses Loomly. That is a dashboard to show and control all the content on social media that they use, which is Twitters and Instagram. Some of them is step by step how to use Loomly. Next slide. This website will have a First Web Foundation to organize all the content will be unified, even in different platform, and it can have First Web Foundation set a specific date, content, hashtag to each post. Next slide. Secondly, we recommend First Web Foundation use Mailchimp. Mailchimp is Mailchimp can help First Web Foundation organize the email campaign and set up the meeting and modify the content by email. Third, beside Twitters, we also recommend First Web Foundation use Facebook because beyond our secondary research, Facebook is one of the most social media that organization use. So if First Web Foundation can use Facebook, they can easier and more flexible to contact with organization. Last thing is about introduction video. Some of organization not know about First Web Foundation. So a shortcut video introduce themselves, can post it in can post it in website or YouTube, can make the organization have a quick look about First Web Foundation. Next slide.
How to know the strategy or success or not. So we set goals based on response rate. Next, please. Yeah. First, CRM, more than 50% of organization on the list applied in 1 year. Next is social media. More than 30% of respondents replied social media as a first approach of First West Foundation. For measuring, survey is great tool to tracking the numbers. And this is we prepared today. Thank you.
Thank you, Team 4, for that very in-depth analysis of CRM ideas and your just overall presentation. We're going to move forward onto our question and answer portion of this presentation. Our first question would be, what was the most challenging situation during this project for your team?
So for Team 4, we had the most difficulty in, let's say, reaching out and keeping the contacts, let's say, engaged in the conversation. We found that reaching out, calling through different means was difficult. At times, the messages were, I would say, forgotten by the companies in a way, and we had to use follow-up emails to re-engage in a conversation. I think that was one of the biggest difficulties we faced.
Thanks for that answer. Next question would be, you guys have mentioned that Facebook and Twitter are probably the two most important social media mediums you guys can use. Aside those two, do you think there are other social media platforms that could be utilized for this partner?
Yeah, I believe we believe that there are a number of other social medias. LinkedIn is a good one for organizations to reach out to each other, as it is more professional in a way. Uh, we believe that there are other more social oriented, less organizational, just to build awareness. But we think that Facebook and Twitter should be the main, how to say, backbone of the social campaigns.
I like that answer. I do agree with that LinkedIn answer as well. It opens up a lot more opportunities. Thank you, Team 4, for your presentation, and thank you for answering the questions. Here, Team 5, I will introduce Team 5 with their ideas focused on the interior BC and Derby district regions. Again, drop your comments and questions down in the chat.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our final showcase presentation for customer analysis and customer relationship management for the First West Foundation in the interior and Andaman district region. First, let's meet the team. We have Sailen Sehan. Then we have Abhishek Singh, myself, Simple Gandotra, and at the end we have Ashwini Pawar. Moving on, talking about the first marketing task in hand. The first thing was to create a potential database and a customer relationship management plan for First West Foundation. What was the priority in this project? Finding organizations that are led by and serving racialized groups, including but not limited to people who self-identify as Black, Brown, Indigenous, or people of color. Why this priority? Because First West Foundation wanted to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in this project. We had to create a marketing strategy and a communication strategy to reach out to these nonprofit organizations in British Columbia throughout the year 2022 and the year 2023. Moving on, these were the areas included in our location. We found more than 500 nonprofit organizations, and we had to find organizations that met our criteria. Moving on, please, let's talk about the objectives of this project. The first one was to find at least 5 such clients that were meeting our criteria. Then the second one was to find who are these smaller charities, who are they, where are they, what services do they provide, who do they provide these services to, who is on the board, and how do you communicate with these charities. And the last one was to create a database based on these organizations, including marketing and communication strategy tools to be implemented. Now I'll pass on to my teammate Abhishek Singh.
Thank you, Simple. Now let's moving on to the content-heavy slides. With our secondary research, we have found out that the nonprofit sector actually holds 8.7% of Canada's GDP, which is roughly $198 billion industry. This money moves around every year. And Canadians actually give $14 billion to registered charities every year. And the areas that these charities are focusing are the youth, the newcomers, and the visible minorities. Moving on, we've also seen the impact of COVID in the past 3 years, and we've seen that the revenues have decreased to 55.70%, which have also gave way to the increase in expenditure, which is 1.54%, which shows that there's a need of support. Moving on, we've also found out that according to the report of racism in Victoria, we found out that 71% of people face racism. And according to the report of Together BC in 2020, we've seen that anti-Asian crimes have increased to 900%. We've also seen that 42% of these charities are actually not having funds to help to meet their demand, and they're not being able to help people that they want to, which shows up as a opportunity for First West Foundation. Now, following our Plan Z, which is our interview execution plan, we've also found out some interesting things. And for that, I'll give it over to Selim.
Thank you, Elvin. So to obtain more specific information, moving on to the next slide, we interviewed these 3 organizations. Moving on. So what we have learned after conducting these interviews. First of all, we saw that finding the right staff over the pandemic became a really challenging task, and it also causes some shortcomings for organizations when applying for grants. And another finding is about the ways organizations find the grants. They check online advertisements, they are trying to stay in touch with the market leaders, and they also have monthly routine to check the websites, their networks, to keep the organization financially stable. How about the difficulties nonprofits are experiencing when finding the grants? So, for example, if the grant description lacks clarity, that creates a confusion for eligibility. Having a CRA registration number is a must. And sometimes if the questions in the grant applications are vague and ask for hard to prove outcomes, organizations may refuse to apply. Moving on to the next slide. So about the most helpful communication tools, we saw that forming relationships on a one-on-one basis is a must. Having frequent get-togethers to deliver the emotional bonds is also helpful. And among all of these communication tools, we found out that word of mouth is the most common one. Now, Ashwini will continue the marketing assets.
Thank you, Celine. So based on our findings, we came up with 2 main approaches to tackle the marketing task at hand. Firstly, it is very important that we find the right organizations to establish the brand awareness, and which is why we came up with the CRM database, which we would be showing ahead. The second approach is maintaining harmonious relationships with the existing clients, like past grantees and stakeholders, which we would be doing through 5 steps. Moving on to the next slide. These are the 5 steps that we're essentially looking at, but we will be focusing on some of the most important tactics. Moving on. Talking about the email marketing plan, we propose that First West Foundation has a solid content marketing calendar for the month, which covers different important aspects. We have a mock-up for it, if we can see that one. Okay, but before that, we have the word of mouth tools. These are some of the tools that we came up with, like desk magazine, coasters, and tote bags. With British Columbia banning the use of plastics, we think First West Foundation branded tote bags would be a great way to establish great connections with the grantees and stakeholders. Moving on. As I was talking about the content calendar, First West Foundation can capitalize on different infographics, highlight the work done so far, write down articles and blogs on things to remember while applying for a grant. And we also have a mock-up of a newsletter, which shows how we can capitalize on the findings, on the work done, and all the important statistics. We also propose the creation of an FAQ page when the SOAR program gets launched, which will address the important questions and doubts that grantees might have. And the final CRM database, we have just added a snapshot, but we're happy to share that we were able to find 15 such organizations which fit in the criteria, and under 6 to 7 which could also be contacted. Moving on, we've also created so many clips which could be used on social media when the program gets launched. This one is a social media clipping, which could be used for stories. As they say, save the best for the last. We also came up with an introductory video for the SOAR program, which can be used when the program goes live. Thank you so much for your time. This was Team 5, Team Inspiration.
Again, thank you, Team 5, for that beautiful and very in-depth presentation. You guys have clearly put in the work and effort into helping our partner, First West Foundation. We are going to move on to our question and answer portion of this presentation as well. The first question would be, what are some difficulties you had when you were finding organizations that fit the criteria?
Overall, I would say that the main difficulty we faced was finding organizations that fulfilled all the specifications that were mentioned in the criteria. For example, some organizations were serving a community of color, but at the same time, they were not qualifying the criteria where it was led by the board of directors were not belonging to a community of color. So that was the biggest challenge that we faced. But having said that, we were successful in finding quite a few number of organizations in our designated location. And the next challenge was to organize the data that we were able to find, and we were able to organize it and segregate it using the CRM database plan. And yeah, I think we have been able to condense the data in a digestible manner by now.
That's good to hear that you guys worked through the challenges that you guys had to face in this project. The next question would be, during your primary research, how did the organizations respond to setting up an interview? Were they hesitant somehow?
So most of the organizations responded well, we can say. Out of the organizations that responded, I can say their optimism and positivity really impressed us. We had 5 initial organizations that we conducted with, but however, we couldn't conduct an interview with 2 of them. Despite all the efforts, we can say we obtained really helpful information, and the nonprofit sector maybe taught all of us that relationship building is something really important in this industry. And as an addition to that, we experienced had a really good time conducting interviews and reaching out to organization leaders.
Thanks. Thank you. Again, thank you, Team 4 and Team 5, for you guys' beautiful presentations. Very informational. Now I will pass it on to Harjot, who has outdressed everyone today and who might be actually going to the wedding after. But here you go, Harjot.
Thank you, Jed. Hello, everyone. I am Harjot, and now we'll have the final 2 teams to present their ideas. And they were focused on promotional outreach in communities that help people who identify as Black, Indigenous, or people of color. Team 6 was focused in Lower Mainland, and Team 7 was focused in Interior BC and Enderby District. So here's Group 6 with their ideas, and as with all the other groups, leave your questions in the chat.
Thảo, this is Kong, Lenita, and Megan, and we have created recommendations for First Foundation promotional plan for the SOAR program. Our goal for this project was to come up with a way to promote First Foundation to organizations that are led by and serve people who self-identify as Black, Brown, Indigenous, and as a person of color. And in order to come up with our recommendations, we conducted primary and secondary researches. And from our primary research, we learned that many organizations apply for grants that align with their values. So this means that First Foundation will have to tailor the language they use to attract the organizations. And luckily, from our secondary research, we found there's a tons of available resources that First Foundation can use to research organizations that might be already qualified for SOAR program. Based on that, we use the organizational journey IDA model to frame our recommendations. IDA stands for Awareness, Interest, Decision, and Action. And in our presentation, we will be touching on how First Foundation will generate awareness through search engine optimization, create interest through Google Ads, and have organizations make decisions to apply by providing them with informational material. And Com will continue with organizational decision-making journal.
So as we take a deep look into First Foundation, the main problem is low brand awareness. As we use Silrus to analyze First Foundation website, their search engine score is just only 32 out of 100, and their ranking is 719,000. Also, number of visitors drop frequently to 152 per month. So to be clear, we cannot find First Foundation website as a customer know nothing about the organization. Moreover, based on the result from the survey in my team and other team, no interviewees have heard about first grade foundation. So, what is the solution to increase the awareness? Is it increase the awareness by increase the search engine and the paid media? Especially is using Google Ads. Firstly, Google Ads can increase the number of visitors from 152 to 8.6 thousand, which is 50 times higher. Secondly, Google Ads is simple, affordable, and controllable. As first grade foundation is granting organizations, so their priority is not advertising or high competitive. So I believe they don't need to spend a lot of time on advertising, which Google Ads is the best choice because Google Ads is a competition between search engine and paid media. Google Ads fee is controllable as we can select how much we want to pay. It can be low as $2 per day. Then it supports the customer for $600. So on another word, it's risk-free. And importantly, first grade foundation can cancel it anytime. Using Google Ads is a long-term solution because it can bring more organizations to us, not only for store program, but also in other future programs. Next, Lady Tag will tell you about the interest.
The next step is interest generation for our SOAR program. Next slide. Yeah. So I'll be talking about how we are going to achieve our goal, basically by increasing more clicks on our website. And that will happen when we create a proper website address with headlines and proper description, which includes the keywords which we selected after our research or for our search ads. We also get to choose advertising area and the cost for it. The cost we choose would be as low as $2 per day. And this is an example of our search ad which we created. This includes all the important keywords which most of the people type when applying for grants. Next slide.
So finally, I'll be talking about what we can do to generate desire for potential organizations to apply for SOAR. So on the right is an example of what something First West Foundation can either publish on their website or print out to have available for potential organizations to read on their own time. What's great about this informational sheet is it highlights the benefits of SOAR and First West Foundation, and it's also independent. They're also independent of each other. So let's say a organization already knows about SOAR but wants more information on First West Foundation, they can pick up the First West Foundation informational sheet and read more about what types of things First West Foundation has to offer. Other resources that we've created are media release to announce the SOAR program and social media posts that can be found further in our report. We've also gathered some resources that we recommend First West Foundation can use. So Canva and PictoChart are great resources for creating informational materials, social media posts, and presentations. They have great digital design templates as well. The last two recommendations for resources are image resources that have access to a wide range of Creative Commons images. And so throughout this presentation, we've been able to show how we can gather awareness from improving First West Foundation's visibility, improve interest in the program through Google Ads, and create desire through informational materials, which will ultimately lead to an application for the SOAR program. Lastly, we just wanted to thank Susan for being a great partner in this. We really appreciate the time you've spent working with us and answering all the questions that we've had. And we also wanted to thank Kim and Shannon for providing us with some great support. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Group 6. And who do we have from Group 6 to answer the questions that I have.
So I'm Kong from Team 6, and I'm so happy to answer your questions.
Beautiful. Okay, I want you to tell me what were some of the challenges that you faced throughout the project. Just mention 3 if you can.
Wow, that's a lot. Okay. So firstly, I believe that this communication is maybe a challenge for us, because as the English is not my my mother language. So sometimes when I explain my idea, maybe it's good idea, but when the way I explain it cannot get to my team. Or secondly, because of the distance, because yes, usually it's better when you meeting face to face, right? But now we mostly use on WhatsApp and for meeting on Zoom, so it's different. It's difficult to explain stuff too. Yeah, I think that's the 2 main biggest problems
Okay.
happening.
Fair enough. We're good with 2. So now that you have real world experience, what would you do differently? Just mention one thing that you would do differently.
Differently. So as I mentioned that, the distance. So now the COVID is getting better. So I believe that if differently, I want to meet with my team more. I want to build up a stronger relationship between the teammate and have a more maybe go out with them. So when we understand with each other, we can work better and stronger, and maybe have better goals.
Absolutely. I love your answer, actually. I believe that communication is great. So now we're transitioning to the team Group 7. So they were focused on Interior BC, and they'll be presenting their ideas on how to reach out to BIPOC organizations.
Hello, everyone. We are Team 7. Our team name is Community First. We have myself, Andrew, Aisha, Mitchell, and Soham. And we are working with Susan and First West Foundation. And our main focus is the Interior and Enderby District. So our main goal for this project, and what we're going to talk about in this presentation, is how we are going to create a promotional marketing plan to increase the number of applications for the SOAR program. And our main focus is organizations that support communities who identify as Black, Brown, Indigenous, or people of color. And the main focus, as I previously said, was the interior of BC and Enderby region. However, we want this to be able to be applied to all of BC. So further in this presentation, we're going to go over some of the problems, solutions, and recommendations we have for First West Foundation.
The project purpose, we aim to develop a marketing educative material for the FWF, First West Foundation. We aim to understand and analyze how leaders of organizations seek funding, and we aim to create a communication plan for the SOAR project, particularly revolving on social media. Talking about the market research outcomes, firstly talking about the research insight. The organization prefers culturally safe funders with ethical backgrounds and core values. Not many organizations fit the criteria, but they are certainly out there. And word of mouth works in communities. Talking about the strategic impact, to create social media messaging and branding that coincides with values to target organizations, to use organizations and SOAR applicant stories as promotion tools. Moreover, First West Foundation needs to become more educated on the work these communities are doing and the impact it has left on the communities, and more community outreach is required. Thank you.
Hi, this is Aisha Bindra, and now I'll be taking you over through some of the recommendations we have drafted for First West Foundation. Starting with the strategy overview, the main idea and the objective behind this is to grow brand love and awareness about the new initiative SOAR project over the social media, which will be done into 3 different parts, starting with proactive community management, data-driven content strategy, and followed by the new initiatives to accelerate, which will exclusively concentrate on the SOAR project strategy. Starting with the proactive community management, now since there are several ways to grow the virtual communities and already existing social media platform, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn of First West Foundation, we would like them to engage outside their own network, engage in earned media, for example, like replying to the mentions, analyzing where these mentions are coming from to amplify new platforms and strategy for the targeted audiences. And next would be creating some exclusive social moments wherein it'll be a combination of both earned and owned media, creating surprise and delight with virtual hangouts and events so that the communication is more enhanced within those communities, and strive for 100% reply rate so that these can be leveraged on a better platform.
So that leads us to our PR and offline efforts, which should aid in the awareness of the SOAR program to help gain some momentum for it. How we're going to do this is through the creation of posters and newsletters, which we think should be hung at community halls, indigenous gathering places, cultural centers, etc. So as you can see here, we have a couple of mock-ups. The first one was actually, you would have seen it from Group 6. Susan thought that we might be able to use it as well in the Enderby region. And then the next two, we created ourselves as sort of like a newsletter that we want to send out or print out and hang at these community centers, and also reach out to the local news organizations to release this press release.
Next would be the social content strategy, which is the data-driven content strategy as a second part of our objective. Developing First West Foundation as an IT foundation, this will help in creating further awareness about the brand. This again would be into 4 phases, wherein first we would like through their content to establish the relationships for the targeted communities with the customized messages on their platforms, differentiating what First West Foundation stands for and visually communicate that. Third would be answering any queries regarding to SOAR granting, different endowments, funds, resources, since this is a new project. So we would like them to be put the content out there in a more innovative way. And lastly would be onboarding these targeted organizations via live Instagrams, announcements on social media. So now we would look at the executionable content on the social media. Regular posting is very important so that the brand recall is higher on all their existing platforms in the form of pictures, short videos, reel, GIFs, and followed by a very strong CTA, which is a call to action, directing them to the website. Second would be communicating SOAR mission and vision, followed by a UTM link, again redirecting the traffic to the website so that it can be a 360-degree loop communicating about its benefits, and having interactive activities like giveaways to increase the followership and engagement. And last would be the reels with the prominent faces of the organization to educate the audience about and amplify the core mission of the project. Right now, First West Foundation is at the top of the funnel, so social media and offline would create more interest and desire about the brand. And last, I would like to talk about the samples of the social media posts. These are some of the assets which we've created for LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram so that it can be furthermore amplified in a better way to communicate the mission.
Thanks, Aisha, for showing us those mock-ups. So this slide here is meant to explain the sort of the so what of our mission behind these social media posts. So Aisha showed you what they are, but the point of the posts are to educate not only the community that First West Foundation is trying to target, but also educate everybody in the Enderby and interior BC region why First West Foundation is targeting this group specifically and not others. We want to educate them about these communities through the use of our social media platforms and address all granting and funding concerns that anybody in the community might have, but specifically sort of allow First West Foundation to be that voice for this marginalized community. And of course, in doing so, we want to address key issues through the SOAR program and start some conversations around SOAR and how it came into existence, and addressing the issues that are being faced by these communities. And of course, we want to outline the unique selling point of the SOAR program and highlight all the key benefits and timelines of the SOAR project, which should aid the intended organizations in the Enderby and interior BC region. And that is all we have for you today. Of course, any and all questions are welcome. And thanks, Susan, for coming out today as well.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Group 7. I do have a couple questions here, but I think they're too easy for you. So one of the questions that I have is, do you think that word of mouth, like traditional channels, could help spread the message, or just reach out to organizations, or maybe using PR, for example?
Hi, so I'll be answering on behalf of Team 7. I'm Aisha, and definitely word of mouth is something very strong since now COVID is, I don't know whether it's over or not over, but since we are opening up a bit more in terms of the economy, definitely word of mouth is something which will help enhance and forge better relationships and more and more stronger establishment when it comes to the targeted organizations. But at the same time, I feel out of all the recommendations we suggested, social media is a very powerful tool as well. So with a combination of word of mouth as a tool, promotional tool, and social media together in synchronization would work wonders for First West Foundation, since their idea is to launch the SOAR program. And that is something which needs to be amplified immediately through, be it through the word of mouth or social media. So that's something that we, highly and strongly feel about it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. I loved how you tied social media with the word of mouth. And what would be one thing that you would do differently?
If given a chance, I mean, something which we would do differently would be like, we would want to create a bit more of an educative, like apart from creating the educative material, we would also like to, like similarly how we used to have PR events before, we would love to have like a mini press conferences, be it in community halls or be it in the libraries or be it in somewhere of these communities would be amazing, because I think more and more it has a physical touch and obviously that connection that really makes the relations more stronger.
Thank you very much. And that concludes all the presentations. And thank you very much, teams. Hold on, I think I'm getting a call. Hello? Hey, Yannick, where are you? You're about to close the presentations. Where are you? Oh,
my bad. I was in hair and makeup.
Oh, okay,
But,
here you go, Yannick.
Yeah. But wow, that was incredible. That was really great. All the presentations. We appreciate all the groups for all the work. And honestly, me and the content team and Shannon and Kim, we just like to say thank you so much to all the students for sharing all your wonderful ideas. We'd also like to thank all the partners for working side by side with the students on all these incredible projects. And we realize it takes time and effort, so we'd like to thank you for the opportunity to help us hone our marketing and strategic skills. Finally, we'd like to thank Envision Financial for supporting the community building program, allowing us students to work on such impactful projects. And just to cap it off, we'd like to invite everyone watching today to follow the community building program on all the social media platforms, and it'll just create a wonderful awareness for this program. And to cap it off, we'll just send it back to Shannon and Kim, and thank you once again.
Wow. Thank you. What a great PR team. Kim, can you believe all of those ideas?
Great ideas. It was wonderful to see.
It really was. And just to add into what Yannick said, thank you so much to our community partners. You really do act as mentors to the students in so many ways, and that's just as an important part of their experience and their learning and getting them ready for the career positions that they're launching into after these capstone courses. So really big thank you. Thank you very much. We are pleased to tell you that we are also able to offer to our community partners a bursary. to the students in the marketing practicum program to be able to come in after this semester of coming up with all of those ideas to work alongside and help get a few things implemented inside the organization. Our partners in the past have shared with us that they love the ideas. All of the information and those sample brochures and sample posts are fantastic, but sometimes back at the community office, there's no one to implement it. So, with thanks to Envision Financial, we are able to offer the students a bursary award to work with our community partners. So, again, thank you so much for that funding and to the partners. We do see our students gain a lot of skills during that process beyond. Over to you, Kim.
Great. Well, thanks for that, Shannon. Yeah, so we would love to be able to take a moment to formally thank all of our nonprofit partners in this program, our peers and the faculty, and to the students for all their hard work and enthusiasm. So first off, I guess, to our partners, Canada Scores Vancouver, Cowichan Valley Basket Society, and First West Foundation. Thank you so much for opening up your organizations to the students. This is another method of having applied learning integrated into their education, and it's just so valuable for that student experience and their learning. So thank you so much. We have a lot of advice from our Marketing Advisory Council as well as future employers telling us that they want our students to have real life experience and application. So thank you so much for providing that opportunity. And so I hope you, our partners, have found that experience or this experience so valuable that you were able to hear new ideas, learn different strategies, get insights from the student teams, and that you found this experience worthwhile. Shannon, who else do we have to thank?
Oh, we do have lots to thank, but I also have to just start with that person who was the inspiration for this experiential learning for our students, and that is Susan Byram. This has been her brainchild and her baby that we have helped and to nurture along with our students over the years. And again, big thank you to Envision Financial, who come back each year to support the students and partners in our community. It really is an honor to see the students bring ideas that are implemented and can help support those in need in our community through the charities. Others?
Yes, we have lots of people to thank and lots of supporters that help make this all happen. So in addition, we actually have some thank yous for help on the technical side. So Stephen Fung of Future Looks is a Douglas College marketing grad, and he supported this program from the beginning with his video and digital marketing expertise and skills that he shares with us as well as the students during the semester. So he keeps us digitally on track throughout the semester, up to date with the tech, and both him as well as Will and Liang have a huge part in making actually this student showcase happen right now. So they're the ones behind the screen making sure that we're broadcasted and the students are able to chime in with their thoughts and presentations. So thank you so much to Stephen and Willin and for all of your help and driving this innovative delivery here on YouTube today. Shannon, who's next?
We'd love to say a big thank you to all of our peers around the college. We had President Denton come today, and thank you so much again for joining in that and for being a great supporter of this program through the years. We have our peer colleagues who've helped us have these brilliant students who come to us, right? They are our peer instructors. We also have fabulous support from the Douglas College Foundation. I know Cheryl Bosley is able to attend with us today, and that's so important to have that support as well. There's just so many. Our Marketing Program Advisory Council, our PAC members. Shout out to I saw Patrick in the chat there, Patrick Hogan. So thanks so much. And our advisory council keeps telling us how important it is to be career ready with experiential learning, some hands-on applied learning, and this is one of the programs that makes that happen. Kim, it's been a fantastic session, hasn't it?
Agreed. Yes, definitely. And I really echo Shannon's sentiments, and I'm so grateful for everyone for helping to make this semester and this program happen. So with that, we're kind of wrapping up here. The semester is coming to a close. So teams will be meeting one-on-one with clients in the next few weeks for their final meetings with you all. And at that time, the clients will receive the client package with all the project components, and we'll get an opportunity to meet with the teams to review the project in a bit more detail. I know 7 minutes isn't a huge amount of time for a presentation, so you got the highlights today. And then in kind of your remaining meetings with students and the partners together, hopefully you'll be able to dive into it for a bit more detail. So with that, to the students, congratulations. You should be so proud of yourselves and all that you've completed this semester. It is a tough course and a tough program and project to kind of get through. And so you should all be so proud about how you're able to apply your marketing knowledge to a real life business and marketing scenario. And I guess thank you for everyone here for tuning in today and participating in the live chat, cheering on our students. And thank you everyone for joining us virtually today. With that, I think, Shannon, that wraps up the Envision Financial Douglas College Community Building Program Student Showcase event for 2022. So thank you again to everyone for joining us, and I hope you have a great rest of the evening ahead. Thank you and goodbye.